Coping with Tre Tailor, giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because we'll always be coping with something. Coping.
Hey, happy Thursday, and thank you so much for joining us on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor, and this year our theme is Coping with Me in 2023. We're giving you info, strategies, and advice so you can focus on your health and well-being, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially too. Today, massage and Reiki practitioner Tina Phillips joins us from No Shame Counseling and Reiki to talk about the importance of relaxation and how to deal with your trauma. Thank you so much, Tina, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Such a pleasure to see you again. We'll talk to Tina coming up next on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor, but first, our community updates. Peak Brewing Company opened a brand new state-of-the-art facility in Columbia this week. The 2,500 square foot North Main Street production facility is a one-of-a-kind complex with indoor-outdoor dining, lounge areas, a full bar entertainment, and is housed in the former Stone Manufacturing Company facility. The company also plans to open up a 65,000 square foot brewery later this year. Amazon Smile is ending this month, the program that allowed customers to donate a portion of their purchase to their favorite charity is being axed on February 20th. Now, this is part of the company's massive layout and layoff, and also they're going to they've given about $1 million to charities across the United States. And South Carolina is the 9th least healthy state in the nation, according to Forbes magazine. The list was based on disease prevention, mortality rate, and substance abuse. Other states on the list include, as you can see, West Virginia, Mississippi, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. You're watching Coping. I'm Tre Tailor. We're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because we will always be coping with something. Don't forget, SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and location for COVID testing in and around South Carolina. Check the screen at the bottom for more information about where you can get a COVID test if you are a veteran, which is at the VA. Also, the various retail outlets where you can get a COVID vaccination, including CVS, including those located in the Target stores, Kroger, and also Walgreens Pharmacy. Also, if you are having some challenges making your appointment online, Get Set Up can help you, of course, get set up with a COVID vaccination. We also saw the graphic there about the Comet bus system, where you can not only get a free vaccination at the main location in Columbia, South Carolina, at the corner of Main and Laurel Street, Sumter and Laurel Streets, but you can also get a free ride to get your vaccine. Now, we also have several pieces of financial information for you, including FEMA is doing their COVID relief fund. If you've got a COVID-related funeral expense, the city of Lexington is also doing their rental and bill assistance program, and also SC Mortgage has a energy bill assistance program for SC Housing. Now, if you or someone you know is having a challenge coping with anything, we're going to be talking with that here. The South Carolina Department of Mental Health has SC Hopes. It's a 24-hour assistance line for anyone who needs it. You're watching Coping. I'm Tre Tailor, where we're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because we will always be coping with something. We are streaming live on the TailorMade production page on Facebook. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow, and find out when we go live on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council, and then again on Thursday and Friday. We also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Now, we would love for you to go over there and hit the subscribe button. You will find 3+ years of information, advice, and resources to help you cope, which is what we do here. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. You're watching Coping. I'm Tre Tailor, and like I said, we're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because we will always be coping with something. Coming up, we're going to talk with Tina Phillips from No Shame Counseling, Reiki, and Consulting. She's a licensed social worker that deals with trauma, and we're going to talk to her about your trauma, how you can recognize it, and what you can do to conquer it this year. That and more coming up next on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor. We'll be right back.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday lives. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hi, I'm Judy Gatson. As a news anchor, wife, and mom, I know how important it is to take care of our health. Part of taking care of our health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is a serious health condition and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. It's estimated that more than 1.3 million South Carolinians have it, and up to 90% have no idea. Take a moment to visit inittogethersc.org to take an online test to find out your risk of prediabetes and how to join a diabetes prevention program that takes the guesswork out of losing weight, eating better, and being more active. You can learn new ways to stay healthy and sustain those changes over time. When you join, you'll even get support from a trained lifestyle coach to help you set and achieve realistic goals. Go to inittogethersc.org, brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
There. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tre Tailor. You're watching Coping. We're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because you will always be coping. We will always be coping with something. We're streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there and hit the subscribe button so that you can find out when we go live every Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council, and on Thursday and Friday. We're also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button there too, so you can get access to 3+ years of information, resources, and so much more on how to cope. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Facebook. Our theme for this year is Coping With Me in 2023. We're giving you info, strategies, and advice to help you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially. And Tina Phillips joins us today. She's with No Shame Counseling, Reiki, and Consultation. The licensed social worker, trauma training facilitator, and Reiki master supports trauma survivors, veterans, and those needing support along their healing journey. Tina, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's first talk about trauma. What types of trauma do people experience? What kind of, trauma situations, what goes on in people's lives, that would affect them ongoing?
So trauma is really an individualized experience. And so a lot of times we think, oh, that was a very traumatic situation.
Yeah.
And trauma is not really what happens to us. It's actually what happens in us. And that's why we say it's a trauma response. And there's a response to the trauma that we experience in our bodies and in our brains. And so the best way I can explain this is when I was first starting out, and I used to be a social worker out with child welfare, I went to a conference with some colleagues, and there were 4 of us in the car, and I was in the passenger seat, 2 social workers in the back, and another one driving. She tapped the car in front of us, and I mean, it was a tap. There was no damage. We didn't shake. It was just tap. Okay, no biggie. So we got out, exchanged information. We got back in the car. The driver and myself, we were cool as cucumbers. But after about 10 minutes, I noticed it was super quiet in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all okay? What's going on? Y'all okay? It was a traumatizing experience for them.
Oh, wow.
Because it triggered something in them. So a lot of times what happens is we have had all these experiences, especially when we're kids.
Yeah.
Up until age 7. And so we start forming these core beliefs about our safety, about how we feel about ourselves. So I'm not good enough, all of these different things. And what happens is a situation occurs and it touches on one of those old things.
Yeah.
And so it sends us through the roof. Now, there are other things that can happen in our lives, like we witness a crime, or we're a part of a crime, or someone close to us dies, or we're afraid that we might lose our life. All of those things are absolutely traumatic as well. But we have an individualized response to the trauma. So for some people, they get depressed. Other people get really angry. Other people get really anxious. Some people do nothing and they're just quiet and silent. So our brain kind of goes through different things: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. We do one of those 4 things when we are feeling traumatized.
Wow. All right. So can we go over those 4 things? Because you're saying everybody experiences some trauma. It's just about how you respond to it.
Respond to it.
Yeah.
How you respond. And by the way, let's just say this: just because you go through something traumatic does not mean you will have PTSD.
Right. Right.
They're not the same things. Okay. Everybody's going to experience trauma. Everybody who experiences a traumatic event does not end up having PTSD.
Gotcha.
And so we all can probably identify some place in our life where we had something traumatic happen and it wasn't still impacting us a month later. Right. So it's not a definitive thing. But when we're looking at fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, fighting is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to start either swinging or I might even start arguing. This can also look like those people: I'm going to speak to your manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Flight is going to be running. And so I'm going to try to get away from the situation. And this is a very typical response for people who are being sexually assaulted. I'm going to try to get away. Right. I'm running. I'm gonna get out of here. That can look like I'm physically running away. It can also look like I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about this thing at all. Okay. Freezing can be, this is the number 1 trauma response of women who are being sexually assaulted. Freezing means I'm just going to kind of play dead. I'm
not doing anything.
I'm not going to do anything. And that's it. Freezing can look like shutting down a lot of times too. It can look like not going into work. It can look like I'm not going around family members and friends. Freezing can look a lot of different ways. And then fawning is one that is relatively new to the conversation about mental health and trauma. Fawning, it's the people when someone comes and robs you and says, put your hands up. Fawning is going to be oh, please don't. I promise you, I will give you anything that I've got. This is where we're trying to reason with people. This is also where we see a lot of people-pleasing behavior.
Wow.
So we usually will have one of these responses, and they're all unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I think, all of us have either seen it or done it, and we probably look at some of them worse than another. I don't think someone would think fawning as being impulse or response of being traumatized. People please, people think probably, and you tell me if this is right. Oh, I'm just trying to get along to go along, or go along to get along, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are taking something from yourself to do that.
All of it is rooted in, I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And so really these responses, they help us in the moment. We got to have them because our brain's only job is to keep us alive.
Yeah.
That's our only job. This is why, I don't know if you remembered, and I want to be sensitive to our viewers, but if anybody's ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, when the older man decides to complete suicide in that moment, he kicks the chair from under him. And I typically ask my clients, why did he do that? So you tell me, Trey, why did he kick that chair from under him?
Girl, I don't know. I hate asking. All right, so let me think. Why did he kick the chair from under him? Was he sitting in the chair during the time?
No, he was standing on the chair and was getting ready to complete suicide. Why did he kick the chair from under him?
Well, I'm thinking because he that would have meant that he would have committed the suicide.
That's right.
Oh,
Because it's an involuntary response. We don't
right,
get to control that. So even when someone they want, and people who are trying to complete suicide, they really want to die, but they
right,
know I don't have any choice. My brain on instinct is going to fight to stay alive. So if that chair is there, my brain is going to say, feet stand up.
gotcha.
And there's not going to be a way that we can get around that.
Wow.
There isn't. So that's one of those things. If you are in the water, you will fight and try. If you're drowning, you are going to fight. You're not just going to lay there. Your
Right.
brain won't let you do
Your
it.
brain won't let you do
So
it.
your brain is doing its job, which is getting you to survive. The problem comes in when we're no longer in that space where our life or our safety is being threatened and we're still trying to survive. This is where the problem comes in. Okay, this is how we end up having PTSD.
Right, when the threat is no longer present.
Threat's no longer present, but we're still responding like it is.
Yeah, yeah. Tina Phillips is from No Shame Counseling and Reiki. She is a licensed social worker, trauma trainer, facilitator, and Reiki master. She supports trauma survivors, veterans, and those needing support along their journey. We're talking today about trauma and the traumatic experiences that so many people have. I mean, like you said, I think everyone's gone through something. I mean, life will take us through something. It's just how we respond to it. And some people's responses stay with them for a lifetime and actually cripple them sometimes too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If they don't work through them. Yeah. I've had clients in their 80s and we're working through stuff from when they were children.
How do you find out though, Tina, what is traumatizing you? Because you know what, I'll tell you a quick story, and I've said this on the show before. My mother died when I was a teenager, but not until, and I think I just moved through life. But then I like in my, I don't know, 30s, I started realize I didn't like, I would feel some type of sadness or depression from Thanksgiving through March. I couldn't figure out what it was, but I knew I felt so heavy. And then one day, it was just years and years and years later. I never forget, I was living in Charlotte. I was sitting on the bed of a guy that I was dating. And it just came to me that it was tied to my mother's passing away. She loved the holidays. So that's Thanksgiving. That's Christmas. That's New Year's. She died in January. Her birthday would have been in February. So from November, her birthday would have been in March. So from November through March, it was a cycle for me. But I had to recognize, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what it was. And just by the grace of God, the epiphany came to me. So then I could deal with it. So how do you recognize, one, that you're having a traumatic experience, and two, what do you do about it? How do you start working on fixing it? Because here's the thing, we got to fix them, like you said, for us to have successful lives. And that's what this series is about, just helping people in every facet of their lives, particularly after going through 2+ years where we were locked down, scared for our lives. People were dropping all around us.
Which was trauma.
It was trauma.
And it's an important thing. You said something very, very important. You said, I was sitting on the bed. And a lot of times we don't sit with ourselves.
Right.
We just go through life, just running, making sure, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this, let me do that.
Yeah.
And we will make sure that we stay busy doing other things. And that's a part of actually PTSD is avoidance. I will avoid certain things. Your body was telling you, avoid the holidays.
Yeah.
That's what, and there's a wonderful book called The Body Keeps the Score. And what the subtitle or the subtext of that is, the body remembers what the brain forgets. And so you may not even be cognizant. I know, and I hate to put people out there, so I won't say who, but somebody in my family that I love very much, they cut up every year around the beginning of August. Every year. And when we stop, in every year, they end up in the ER. And I know because of what I do, I said, oh, can we just go ahead and acknowledge Uncle? Because I know that he passed away August the 10th.
Yeah.
can we just acknowledge Uncle and that we miss him? And he'll go, oh, that is coming up. Because he doesn't remember it in his mind,
But
but
his
his
body
body.
does. His body
And
does.
so that heart starts beating out of control and he thinks he's having a heart attack and it's really anxiety.
Anxiety. Yeah.
It's
So how
panic.
do we do that? And you did say, so do we just, when we are experiencing some body thing, some whatever, whether it's stress, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, whatever, should we then look to that as, okay, something's happening, even if I don't recognize it with my head? And that's such a huge quote. You said, the body remembers what the mind forgets. Do we just need to sit with it and figure it out, or figure out, or go to counseling, or do whatever?
Or both. Or both.
Letter D, all of the above. Yeah.
That D, all of the above. So I think it's one of those spaces where we have to check in with ourselves. And then we also have to listen to the people who are around us, whether that's the people in our family, whether that's the people at our job. Daggone it, I just did a session with someone recently who had an explosion at a fast food restaurant because they didn't get the things that they needed to get. They didn't get all 4 sauces that they were due.
Yeah.
And they cut up. That is an indicator something is off.
Right, because that's not a normal response.
So not only
it shouldn't just make you go off the ground.
So we know then it's a power and control issue. It's got to be tied and connected to something else where we felt out of control in other spaces in our lives. So not only should we listen to or sit with ourselves and say, what is this? But also listen to the people around us. When people are going, oh,
yeah,
or are you okay? Or do you need some time? Or woo, you grouchy?
Yeah,
grouchy. If this continues to be the response of people around me in a certain time frame, we got to sit with that. And then it may mean I might need to reach out to a counselor. I might need to find some Zen for myself, whether that's going and sitting at the beach or by the Lake Murray, or it may mean I may need to go get a massage or get some Reiki or do some aromatherapy at home, right? Everything don't have to cost us a whole lot of money.
Right.
It may mean I need to go and do some walking. Baby, let me tell you, exercising releases some feel-good chemicals in our brains. When we start moving, all of those things. It may mean I need to look at my nutrition. What am I eating? All of these things, because like you said, there was a heaviness that you felt.
Yeah.
Trust your body, trust yourself. That's the first way that we can get power and control, is by trusting what we're feeling in our bodies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's break a couple of those things down. Aromatherapy is one of the things that you mentioned, aromatherapy and oils. And we're looking at a slide here that tells what oils do what. So let's talk about a couple of the ways before we wrap up that people, once you recognize something's going on, that you can then address it. And like you said, it doesn't have to be costly.
It doesn't. You can come and get Reiki. And I have some clients who they say, this is a gift to myself once a year. I do it for my birthday. So that's their Reiki. Cool. And then
before you go, don't go away from Reiki. Let's talk about what Reiki is for those who may not know.
Yeah. Reiki is it's a balancing. It's an energy healing and balancing, looking at our 7 chakra zones and also our physical body. A lot of times we are out of flow. We are not flowing well throughout our body. So mind, body, and spirit. Sometimes we have a disconnect. This is a time where we lay down. So my Reiki means that you get aromatherapy, you get touch therapy because I touch your head and also your ankles and feet. And then also it is a balancing space. So we do engage all of the senses. We play the relaxing music. So it's like coming to a spa. It's an amazing experience. Lots of people leave feeling amazing. And the effects of it last for 3 weeks. So we are kind of moving energy to the different parts of our bodies that need it the most in that space. And there's lots of scientific research on the benefits and positive effects of Reiki. Most children's hospitals in America have Reiki specialists on staff to support not only the patients, but also the parents, because anybody that had a sick baby knows that it is stressful for us, right? So Reiki is helpful. Aromatherapy is helpful. Being able, so things like lavender, smelling things like lavender or orange citrus is going to make you feel brighter. Things like peppermint really helps us to feel better. This is why when we were little kids, if you ever went to church, grandma or maybe one of the old mothers would hand you a peppermint. Baby,
Right.
it'll calm your whole spirit and it'll calm you, and it helps you stay awake. Right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of the things that we need are right here on earth, and we don't have to pay a ton of money for them. You can
Yeah.
also do Reiki on yourself. That's one of the things that I practice. So I train people to do Reiki, and I've got a couple of people who just do it on themselves. They don't do it on other people. So it's taking the time to find out what helps you to feel peace, what helps
Right.
you to feel calm. So for some people, that's listening to certain types of music.
Right. Yeah.
Um, for some people, that's going and hearing live music. Some people like to go out, other people like to stay in.
Yeah.
So whatever that looks like, if it's sitting under a weighted blanket, that's another amazing tool. If you haven't tried that, baby, it's like giving your whole soul a hug.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
wonderful. So finding what works for you, and of course, counseling is amazing. But what we do in that is we're going to help you explore the things that work for you and put some plans into place and hold you accountable
Right.
for doing them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tina Phillips joins us. We have our series is Coping with Me in 2023. We've been giving you information to help you cope with everything that you're dealing with physically, mentally, financially after dealing with COVID for 2+ years. 2023 can really be a year that you get it back together and focus on you. And Tina has been telling us about trauma, the fact that everyone deals with it. It's just how you manifest it is the thing. And you need to recognize what it is, listen to what people are saying around you, and then tackle it. We talked about Reiki, we talked about aromatherapy. Exercise, you mentioned, is really good too.
Mm.
Oils and scents and things of that sort. And of course, counseling, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you how often should people do these types of things, Tina?
As often as they need.
Okay.
Just like how trauma is individualized, so is healing.
Yeah.
So is healing. And so
Yeah.
is coping. So as often as you need it, if you notice that you are staying at a 10 until you're coping, keep doing the things that help you cope until
Yeah.
your baseline will start to reduce and decrease over time. So you may have to do things. So when you go to counseling, you don't go for life. Most people don't go for life. You may go for 6 months, you may go for a year, and then that'll be enough for most
Right.
people. Six
Right.
months to a year is about what we need.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. But the main thing is do something. Do something for yourself.
Don't ignore it, because it will if you do not take control over your experience, it will take control over you.
Over you.
You
Yeah.
have to control it.
Tina
Mhm.
Phillips is a licensed social worker, trauma training facilitator, Reiki master, and owner of No Shame Counseling, Reiki, and Consultation, where she supports trauma survivors like you and me, veterans, and those needing support along their healing journey. For more information on her and her services, please check the screen. Full disclosure, I've done Reiki and need to get another Reiki
And do
appointment very soon. So start coming face to face with your stuff so you can have the best life that you desire and deserve. Tina, thank you so much for joining us today
Thank
and
you for
for
having
sharing
me.
all of this great information. We appreciate you, beautiful.
Thank you. Be kind to yourself, Trey.
Thank you. Thank you. So tomorrow, more on our Coping with Me in 2023 series. Life coach Ebony Cornish talks about getting consistent on your journey. In the meantime, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope, please email Tasha at booking at copingwithtretatailor.com. If you have a product or service that could help someone cope, please email copingwithtretatailor@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. They sponsor Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday right here on Coping. Our other sponsors include Javis Financial Services, Palmetto Media Connections, Black Pages Black Expo, the Comet Bus System, Computers Unique Dutch Square Mall, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, Attorney Byron Gibson, and Agape Counseling and Training Services. As always, I leave you with a spiritual reading from Jesus Calling. It's January 19th, and it says, "Seek my face, and you will find more than you've ever dreamed of. Let me displace worry at the center of your being. I can shower peace into the pool of your mind because my nature is to bless." Your nature is to receive with thanksgiving. This is a true fit because I was designed before the foundation of the world. Glorify me by receiving my blessings gratefully. I am the goal of all your searching. When you seek me, you find me and you are satisfied. I'm still there watching and waiting, but you function as if you were alone. Actually, my light shines on every situation you will ever face. Live radiantly by expanding your focus to include me in all of your moments, because let nothing dampen your search for me. Seek God, and all other things will be added unto you. That's your Jesus calling for today. I'm Tre Tailor. Hey, thank you again so much for joining us today. In the meantime, I wish you peace and abundant blessings. Take care. God bless. Stay well. And don't forget, Richland County, there are 19 counties in South Carolina that are very high on COVID. So you still need to wear your mask, especially if you're going to be inside. But you got to wear it over your nose and under your chin. We'll see you tomorrow.
Coping, find peace of mind to survive through whatever. Coping, learning the way that we thrive all together. Coping, finding out what's real. Coping, we can heal, we can heal, we can heal. Coping with stress, coping with strife, bringing hope for success, for improving our life. Coping beyond hoping to do more than survive, ways to live a healthy life. Coping and promoting, learning what you can do, 6 ways to a better you. Coping, find peace of mind to survive